What's good, y'all? I'm Mr. Subconscious. Let's have some more inner dialogue. So today, I wanted to rap about something that, I was talking to some homies about. Um, and I think every man has either experienced this on one end or the other end, regardless. Pause. But being the nigga on the side, the man on the side, right? If it's a beautiful girl, you're more likely to want to. Um, you know, she's fine and she's your type. A woman having a man usually doesn't sexually disqualify her in the eyes of a lot of guys, right? But there's a few ways you can look at it, and not all of them are the right or wrong way to look at it. It really depends on the situation, depends on the girl, depends on a lot of different things, man. But I wanted to offer a certain perspective. And this was a perspective that I heard from BOA, Dr. BOA, right? And a little bit of Pimp God too, right? So shout out to them too. Them two OGs are people I personally listen to and that have, helped me grow in a way that I wouldn't have otherwise, right? So I thank them too, seriously. And go subscribe to their channels too. They don't know me from a can of paint. I mean, I'm just a loyal subscriber and somebody who really understands their content and has really applied their content. And I was, on this path before them, but just a little aside. And shout out China White too, man. She is a different kind of woman. She's a different kind of woman. Intellectual, pure intellectual, student of the game, teacher of the game. Right. So, shout out those three, Dr. BOA, King Ray Ray, you know, Pimp God Nation, and the Lions Den, right? Um, but back to the topic of the mind of a side nigga, right? There's a couple of things that a lot of guys just haven't thought about when it comes to being the side man. And before we get to the drawbacks that should prevent you from wanting it, let's discuss the reasons why you might be okay with it. Right? Obviously, no emotional attachment or investment or even effort as much, right? Because she got a man for that, right? She already has a man for that. And most of the time, if you're the side guy, she's sexually attracted to you enough to give it to you without that form of investment. Unless you know, got into the relationship with this woman through an emotional standpoint where, she was emotionally building a connection with you, and then it ended up, exploding, or it ended up being right place, right time, right emotion, right? But if she's sexually coming for you, or your type, she doesn't care if you have much emotional investment in it. But you know, that's one of the benefits, is that you don't have to have the emotional investment. Another one is, um, a lot of people argue that during affairs the sex is better, and the Bible even says that stolen waters are sweeter, right? Stolen waters are sweeter, and bread eaten in secret, right, is good. Something along the lines of that. I'm paraphrasing, but um, I'll get that verse up for y'all, right? But it has its benefits, its pleasure, and You know, another one is, and this is really overlooked, honesty, right? A lot of women can be far more honest with their guy on the side than they can their main man. And that's because it's, she knows you're not gonna judge her because she already sees that you don't judge her for cheating because she's cheating with you. So she's a lot less likely to, you know, lie to you in a lot of ways. I'm not saying she won't lie, but I'm saying she's a lot less likely to, just because she knows you'll accept her for who she is. But the benefits are numerous and pleasurable, and it's tempting, right? And I'm not gonna say I've never been in that position in my life before, but there's a couple key reasons why the mind of a side nigga is still inferior. Even though she may be with a beta man, right? There's still a couple key elements. And I didn't really think about these things for years until I matured a little bit more, right? And the young guy's so happy to get some box that they're not really thinking about the other factors. And there's a few other factors. First couple factors. Most men are in it for the perks, right? But there's mechanics with those perks. Most men are perfectly cool with, a woman having a man and being a man on the side because they think that, that sex that they're getting is, better than the sex she would give her man. And when it comes to desire, yeah, she might have a greater desire, right? She might have a greater desire. But nobody's thinking about these deeper mechanics, right? If you ask a man, first of all, it might get a little raunchy. But if you ask a man, would you be willing to eat something that had another man's semen on it? I'm talking about eat something that another man's semen has touched. He might fight you for that. Not just touch, but it's currently on. He might fight you for that. But I know so many men, and I'll get to an anecdote in a second. I know so many men that are perfectly fine with being the side nigga to a woman who still gets skeeted in at night or that day within a 24-hour period by her man. And they still gonna lick her box. They still gonna put their penis in her raw, not even with the condom. And this was something I didn't think about until it was brought to my attention. Like I just didn't. I was like, like it wasn't something I thought about in depthly to be disgusted by it, so that I actually moved differently until it was broken down to me. And in this day and age, most people ain't going to get tested. Most people ain't, they're not wearing rubs. Most people ain't about that. So while a side guy might decide in his mind that he's not being cucked necessarily, right? Oh, I'm the big dog in this situation. Nah, you're both being cucked. You know what I'm saying? You're both okay with this woman having the both of you. You're both okay with that. And it's because you're either too sex starved, too sex hungry, or too impatient to get something that you have for yourself, someone that you have for yourself. Now, a man having a bunch of women that he has to himself, but they all share him, that's a very different thing, because she's not absorbing seed, or he's not absorbing seed, right? She is. And, you know, I don't know if you know any Jamaican rosters, but the first time we really started talking about this, one of the Rasta OGs that I was around, he's just a really raw person, right? He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He tells the truth. And I always gravitated towards people who live without their mask on, in a certain sense, right? Not necessarily that they don't have a private life, right? Or things that they don't just share, but they're honest people, they're earnest people, right? And they have a certain level of fiber when it comes to learning and teaching, especially the game. And he said something super interesting. He was like, "What's the difference between a penis and a vagina? Other than the obvious." And he said skin. He said skin. He said your penis has skin on it. And other than sexual disease, right? Other than sexual disease, which both sexes can contract, most of the time you can shower and rid yourself of the sexual juices of another woman. Now, let's keep all things constant and say that all parties are disease free. Disease free, when a man gets a woman's mucoid substances on his penis, he's able to wash those things off. He's able to wash that off, right? But when women are in a state where they have multiple men and they're getting ejaculated in, even, pre-ejaculate, right? Pre-cum, they're absorbing that and keeping that forever. Absorbing that and keeping that forever, right? So he explained, right, and he's not biologically technical, right? But he said a penis is a limb. A vagina is an organ, right? And I'm gonna pull it all together in a second, but you can wash that limb, and being disease free, she will not get any other woman's, juices on her. Now, if you don't wash, she's susceptible to getting her pH thrown off, yeast infections, BV, all kinds of things. But if you wash and you're disease free, she's not just getting another woman's DNA or another woman's juices. Man, if you are the side guy to another woman, even if both her and her man are disease free and you are disease free, if he's shooting the club up, when you put your mouth on her, you getting all of his DNA. Now, you a straight male. You wouldn't want to taste or eat semen otherwise. But in this case, you have a girl who's beautiful. All of a sudden, you don't want to think about that. It's really disgusting the more you really analyze it and think about it, it's really disgusting. But very seldom are men logical and analytical enough when they're around beautiful women to be disgusted. Right? So the mind of a man who's willing to do that is somebody who believes he's in a superior position because she's willing to, quote unquote, put her relationship at risk for me. And so he gets this ego boost, but he never really thinks about the mechanics, right? He never really thinks about the mechanics. Those are just the physical mechanics that we just discussed, right? So I was rapping with, one of my homies, and I told him, I was like, yo, bro, you ever been a side nigga? And he's much older. He's I look at him like a big homie, right? Um, but it's not formal at all, and I definitely don't rep a set. But I have, elders from the hood that taught me a lot of things. But he was like, "Yeah, I'm the number one side nigga in the world," and I was like, "You're okay with you be eating them out?" And he was like, "Yeah, absolutely. They love me." And he stroked his beard when he said it. And I was like, "Yo, what if her husband skeeted in her the night before?" And he said, "Man, she took a shower." And in my mind, I was like, "Man, he really thinks the shower, she's putting soap and water and cleansing the innards of her vagina. He really thinks that when she secretes her, arousal, that it's not, that there's not another man's semen, most likely her man's semen mixed in there, right? He's not factoring that. But this same man would be offended if anything semen coated was even bought in his vicinity. If it even touched his hand, let alone, But so many men are perfectly fine with, a woman being around them and them having intercourse while she has fresh seed, all in and around her orifices. Now, on the other side, right, they win it. The women win it. Women in today's age are winning, not because they're inherently smarter, just because men are so willing to put aside all self-respect for pleasure. All self-respect for pleasure. Now, the same way he thinks this woman might be way more attracted to him, and she may be, right? Way more horny for him, she may be. She most likely is, right? They place their own value on that, but they don't have the self-esteem to not want to eat another man's seed or put their raw penis in another man's seed. So on one end, the woman is building their self-esteem. Oh yeah, she like me. In his mind, she's not really building her self-esteem. That's just what he believes. Right? But on the other side, it's so low that he's willing to lick on, gobble, get a bowl of, and then fornicate with this cesspool of semen. And that's when I started really understanding this concept, is when I really was like, man, I'm not messing with no woman that got a man. If I do it unknowingly, that ain't my thing, but I'm not even gonna eat it. So I'm already not gonna eat it. I don't care what she say. She tell me leave because I ain't need it, I'm gone. But I'm not gonna get tricked. Why? My sister's an OBGYN, man. She's a surgeon. She is a literal vagina surgeon. Delivers babies, C-sections, treats women for diseases, pap smears, all that. She's the one who told me really how nasty these women are and how not to eat the box. and why I should not ever put my mouth on a woman's vagina again. Those were her words from a woman that is a vaginal doctor, a surgeon, treats women every day. Right? She told me so much. And that was the confirmation I needed. The mind of a side guy is happy to get extra sex, happy to do so much, but at what cost? I've never felt more disgusting than when I sat there and realized, dang, I'm over here eating these shorties and they possibly get skeeted in. Not possibly, highly likely. The night before, the same day. And I'm like, dang, like, I ain't put my tongue in it, but I definitely was, on some clitty. And even that was like, I'm never doing that again. I was like, man, I was like 19, 20. And so many men don't realize that the thing they think brings them higher self-esteem is actually proof of the latter. We haven't even gotten to the, spiritual aspect of it, the karmic aspect of it, right? But your ability to say no even to a woman throwing herself at you is very important. It's about having mind control over Debo, man. It's about having mind control over Debo. If you can't control Debo, your decisions will change. And what's wild is these same men that are willing to be a side guy would never want their girl to have another man. Right? But a side guy willingly knows that his woman, quote unquote, has another man. Right? And he's like, she's not mine because, I don't do this, that, and the third, but you still screw her like she's yours. And you still share, juices with her. So even if she's not yours, the math is still the same. Excuse me. The math is still the same. And what's the math? One woman, 2 Siemens. One woman, 2 Siemens. I'm not eating a box, period. But if I did, I wouldn't even eat if my semen was in it. It's trifling. It's nasty. You know what I mean? It's nasty. It's weird. Everything. It's nasty. But the math is the same. 1 man, 2 Siemens. So if we're going to get at this, quote unquote beta man for not knowing that he got a side dude, why ain't we going to get at the side dude for knowingly and willingly accepting a semen cesspool just for momentary gratification? Just for momentary gratification. I don't know, man. It's very interesting. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say like, dang, like, she not bad, or that I haven't, definitely capitalized on side nigga energy that I may have. Because every man feels good when his ego is stroked by being so official that another man's woman is attracted to you and is willing to show you that confirmation, even sometimes in front of her man. Especially when you're the guy that they least expect. Right? That's a different strain. But all I'm saying is, at the very least, don't put your mouth on that thing, man. Wear a rub, man. Wear a rub. See her paperwork. See her paperwork. Or see if you can actually seduce her into legitimacy. What does that mean, man? It's a lot of game. I'm not even gonna hold you. But seduce her into legitimacy. Just be cool with her. You don't gotta crack it, man. Just be so cool that she's willing to leave her man. Detox the box and give it to you on a silver platter. Yes, that's happened before. Because if you a hell of a man, you're not gonna let your broad have other men, side nigga or not. You know what I mean? If she burning hot, she just gotta give it to you. She ain't had it in a while. Don't eat it, wear a rub. That's at bare minimum. But at your highest potential, think about saying no. Just think about it.